Justin over here.
And then, and so I just want to say initially that this is reality. This is actually happening.
We are not in a simulated podcast world.
This is who we really are.
This is my voice.
What if we were even weirder in real life than we were in the actual fictional construct that we made? The actual narrative. Yeah. There's things about us that are way weirder than our actual fictional characters that we've created.
Let's hope.
Yeah. So in case you didn't know, and you've been listening to this podcast for fucking 9 episodes, none of that was real. None of it was real. It was all fake. Ha! We gotcha.
Boy.
We gotcha.
That wasn't Frankie Muniz.
It wasn't Frankie Muniz. It wasn't really Frankie Muniz. It wasn't really. What's his name? Sasquatch?
Sam Bigfoot.
Sam Bigfoot. It wasn't really Sam Bigfoot. I'm forgetting my own fucking characters.
You made him too. No, we didn't
technically
name him.
Yeah.
We didn't name
so
him.
we're gonna do some retrospect, some inside information here. Comedian that was on the show, Rafael Decamargo, he named that character.
He named it. That's his creation.
And we're actually really happy with how that character turned out. That was a really fun character.
Yeah. He's good. He's gonna come back. We're gonna bring him back.
He's definitely gonna come back. So be ready for that.
Be ready.
Be ready because he's gonna come back and you won't even know he's back. He's just gonna be there.
He'll just be there. We won't lead up to it at all.
Yeah, he'll be sitting there the entire time while we're doing the podcast. And then 40 minutes in, he's like, dude, I just been, what the fuck? Why? How come I don't have any lines?
I've been back here the whole time. I've been waiting.
Yep.
You asked me to be on. We should also make a call out to our loyal sound producer.
We should do that.
We should.
He's been
we should
incredible.
Introduce him.
His name is Daryl Williams, and he's sitting right here with us.
Hey, Daryl, say hi.
Don't say anything.
Say it.
Shut up.
It's really
Stop.
mean. Shut up, Daryl.
Yeah, man. Let's all three of us do this. It's fine. We're a team. Let's do it.
Oh, hey guys.
What's up?
I've just been
You don't
patiently.
talk like that. This is reality.
Use your
remember?
real voice.
We're not in the fictional narrative that we've constructed.
Daryl,
We're not in that.
What have you been doing on Please Send Help?
Just basically all the audio stuff. Anything that makes it sound fake.
Oh,
pretty much.
Gotcha.
Or realistic,
fake like you,
or
Daryl.
goofy, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And all of the sound effects have been pretty appropriate. And honestly, every
Pretty,
single
pretty.
time, every single time I hear it, I'm like, this is great.
You do a mostly good
you
job.
Do a very good. No. What I'm saying is I haven't heard a sound effect.
Adequate.
I haven't heard a sound effect once where I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Right. When you pull out a knife, it's like a chicken sound effect.
Or he pulls out a knife and it's like, it sounds like a rubber fucking knife or whatever.
That is a bad sound effect. Daryl.
What if all my sound effects were just my voice in different ways? I'm like,
oh boy.
And you're like, real sound design is just people with mouths, people doing stuff with their mouths. That's all it is. Every cartoon you've ever heard is just a guy going,
all this mud. Oh boy.
Yeah, when you run into a bear, it's just me going rawr.
He's just really good at it.
Yeah.
Foley artists are afraid of him.
I forgot that's what it's called. Explain Foley.
Yeah. Foley artist is somebody who makes who does the sounds for cartoons.
That's right.
And they just take regular household sounds and apply it. I remember I was really into Foley art when I was a kid, which is a weird thing to, I guess, be into as a kid.
No, it's
not. Well, I love cartoons. I have a love affair with cartoons. So I was always like, how do they make the sounds? Then I watched something on remember the cartoon How to Eat Sloppy Burgers. That's not a thing.
How to eat
sloppy
sloppy burgers?
I was thinking of
let's make
Cloudy,
that a thing.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Right.
And the way they made the burgers falling out of the sky, the guy just had a mop and he would just slam it onto the ground, and that's how they made the burger.
Oh, all right.
So it's weird.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's weird.
Okay, so there was. Do you know the Duplass brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a fan for sure. There's one show they had on HBO where one of the characters was a Foley artist. And I thought that narrative arc was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Wasn't
because
it Togetherness?
that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was very, very good. It was an amazing show, and they canceled it after 2 seasons, and I will forever hate HBO for that. Not really. They have a lot of other good content, but that is a great show. It was a very good show.
No, I never seen it. I got to check it out.
You should check it out. So the main Duplass guy that we all know, whatever his name is.
I don't. Mark.
Thank you. Mark Duplass. He was a Foley artist, and it was funny because he would do Foley work. He would be out there like trying to get the most realistic sounds that he could possibly get. So it's like, hey, let's he was trying to get like the sound of a wolf, like the way that wolves sound when they're just walking around. I guess they make weird sounds like when they're not howling or whatever, you know? So he like recorded that, and then he brought it to the studio. And they were like, "Nah, it's not how wolves sound." Nah, man. Like, dude, let's
did all
do
of the
it.
groundwork.
Let's do it. Yeah, this way. It was just like it goes to show that it's like, I mean, a lot of what we hear in mainstream sound design, it isn't technically how it really sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of times when they show a bald eagle, and it's actually like a hawk.
Exactly.
It's not even like what a eagle would actually sound like.
So what we hear every time we hear a bald eagle is like that or whatever, probably a little lower than that, but like that's not a bald eagle. Yeah, it's like I didn't mean that, but yeah, sure. Like that's interesting. That's crazy.
You know what? So little fun history fact because I'm a nerd. Okay. Abraham Lincoln. Do you know that his voice wasn't actually very deep? His voice wasn't deep. The reason we think his voice is deep is because of the Abraham Lincoln animatron that was based off of an original.
At Disneyland?
Yeah. It was
the Hall of Presidents.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
The one that's interesting.
Yeah. So that and like there's another movie I think with early Abraham Lincoln with I don't know, was it Gregory Peck? It might have been with Gregory
Cary
Peck.
Grant. I'm just naming old actors.
Frank Sinatra.
It could only be one of 4 or 5 actors.
Spencer Tracy.
Mandy Patinkin.
I thought I heard you say Richard Nixon for some reason. That doesn't make sense.
So like we have this like cultural idea that his voice is very deep based on the narratives that we've told ourselves. However, his voice was actually like a more like a professor, much higher and nasally. So he actually hated giving speeches because his voice was so like high pitched, not for his height.
Okay.
So like Daniel Day-Lewis should have sounded like
Fourscore.
No, Daniel
Day-Lewis's voice is actually very accurate.
Yeah. I was gonna say because I remember watching that film and being like, "Is that how he's supposed to sound?" You know, but I guess so.
Yeah, he did some real research.
He's pretty method. I know. I trust Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Like I've like every single time he tells me something, I just assume it's true. He's my best friend. No, it's it's not true.
Yeah, he was secretly gay during that whole shoot.
Oh, that's amazing.
So method.
You know what? Okay, well, here's a story about Daniel. Apparently, in Gangs of New York, I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I love Gangs of New York.
Yeah, no, I mean, did you remember like he was so method in that part that like he lived like it was the 1800s.
Oh, I believe it. I didn't know that, but I don't
like if he got sick, he didn't take penicillin or whatever, like crazy shit. He was like sleeping, like he wouldn't shower forever, you know, like weird, crazy, like.
I feel like that's unnecessary.
Oh, for sure,
but
it is if you're Daniel Day-Lewis.
I mean, you know what? I
He's
can't
like
say
raping female PAs. What? They did this.
He like actually murdered people with an axe. Like that's how method he got. You know, like it's like I got to be a real butcher, man. Like I don't know if you know what you're asking me, but okay. Like you know, like.
You're not ready for this. But you know what? He's a good actor, so I guess we can't.
It's fine. We'll forgive everything
We'll let him.
he's ever done. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, what are some of your favorite moments in our previous episodes? What do you think?
So you know what? We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'll definitely throw in Sam Bigfoot talking about LSD and then us stealing his tit milk.
All the same episode.
It was such a weird
Interesting.
episode.
Okay. Yeah, that was a very strange episode. And I love that. I mean, every episode's kind of strange. We ate Niraj.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. He didn't want that. We just did it.
That was an interesting. I mean, that episode ran longer than I think most of the other episodes that we've done. And we just had a lot of really good personal anecdotes, and we riffed really well.
Yeah.
And your arms were fleshlights. Am I right?
Yeah. The both of you stuck your respective peni.
Yeah. It was fucking crazy.
That's the plural for.
I was reluctant to do it, but Neeraj was like, this has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay.
And you know what? It was a good call on his part. Is that
you
your
lost
favorite?
both of your arms to racist sharks, so we had to do something. You know, like that was the only option we had.
Is that your favorite episode?
I don't know what my favorite episode is, man. There's some really good moments from a lot of the episodes. I think it's crazy that the episode before it, like we were literally on a plane that was going down like the whole time, which is insane.
It's so cool. Just the idea, because like for me, realizing that the podcast world is totally up to you because you determine everything that goes on was like which I know it's like it sounds basic, but for me, like realizing like, oh, there's so much more possibility within like the realm of what a podcast can be. I suppose what it is.
Exactly. That's the cool thing about our podcast is that we can do anything.
And
we put ourselves in that framework. and I love that. What is it?
Every time when you guys do something crazy where it sounds like there's going to be a huge audio element to it, I'm always like, well, there's another hour.
We feel bad about that, but
I do. You signed on for this.
Just
to remind you.
Going back to method too, that's how I got the fleshlight sound. I actually just recorded me fucking a fleshlight.
I do want to give credit where credit is due, though, because that was not Daryl. That was like we had another editor.
If Ed listens to this, I'm gonna get a call later.
Yeah, definitely give him the big ups because yes, I've come on this later in the project.
Yeah, he's definitely he definitely helped us structure it in a big amount earlier when we were figuring out what we were going to do. When there's no we didn't fire him, by the way. It was just one of those things where it's like, it's not working between us anymore, and we need to move in a different direction.
That's kind of what happened.
I mean, basically, right?
Basically,
and he killed himself.
Yeah, he's dead now.
That was a formative period in our podcast history. We had 2 months where we only released 2 episodes. And I was freaking out. I was
it was pretty rough.
Yeah. It was nuts.
But I think it's made us stronger.
I think so too. You see how huge my fucking bicep is, bro?
It's ungodly.
Oh damn, yeah.
Flex your bicep.
Some farts in there. Yeah.
Just drop some mops on So for those who don't know us and have listened to us, Andrew and I are actually both
twins.
We're both gay. It's crazy.
But we're twins.
Gay twins? What a coincidence. Oh, speaking of which, there's that actually. They're not gay, but the guys who made Matrix. The Wachowski sisters.
That's
now.
true.
The Wachowski sisters.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
What a crazy turnaround.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Oh boy,
because there was one of them that was trans, and then I was like, okay, so it's a sister and a brother now.
Right.
But then eventually they were like, you know what? I kind of feel like I want to do this too.
Right.
Like I like how you're living your life.
Yeah.
I kind of want to live it that way.
Yeah.
You know,
let's also make sure it's definitely not a choice.
Exactly.
They definitely were born that way.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like that one song, "Born This Way."
Born This Way
from Lady Gaga.
Gaga.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah. It's
You've
exactly
ever heard
like
the lyrics of that song?
Yeah.
Pretty deep. It's all about trans people.
Yeah. We're
Not
born
really.
this way.
I thought it was about gay twins.
It's about Andrew and I. Clearly. We were born this way, Andrew.
Do you think Lady Gaga would ever? Because I know that she had a dress of meat. Remember that?
The meat
that
dress.
was
She wore a dress,
I loved that.
A dress made of meat.
I loved that.
So she's probably never going to be vegan, right? I'm guessing.
Well, you
it's
would
against
think
the bylaws.
Yeah.
And then she just eats all the fur.
Yeah.
Just the meat.
She murdered that animal herself. With oh boy!
What are your thoughts on the we're just gonna say it, the Die Hard episodes? What are your thoughts on that? If you guys didn't see, that's what we were doing.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we were doing.
I think what happened partly is we jumped too big, too quick.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think we were still in our formative period.
Okay,
we didn't even know if we were going to where we were going to record next week, if you remember. Because like it was almost like we had to figure out like where are we going to record this next episode between Eduardo or between Miles. So we were scrambling every week.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have something stable like we have now with the Dare.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that was those 2 episodes that we recorded. That was during our kind of like period where everything was up in the air.
Yeah, we didn't know.
So we didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think generally it was still pretty fun.
It was
it
was a lot of
like,
fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There was just like a lot of like we didn't know the direction yet. I think we were still trying to figure it out.
Who was the guest?
Robert.
Yeah,
Robert
right.
Amador.
Robert
was wonderful.
Zemeckis.
It was wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I love Robert.
Robert's
He's
amazing.
such a nice guy.
I just remember listening to that like one of those episodes, and like the first 10 minutes you're shot 3 times. That was one of my favorite moments. I laughed pretty hard. I was like, God damn it! Like, and it was right after you fell and like broke your leg or something like that.
Well,
like,
I fell out of the aqueduct. Not the aqueduct. The vent.
Yeah,
I fell out of the vent onto a bed with a gun underneath it.
Yeah.
And then
was that a conscious like writing thing? Like you getting more of the maiming?
It didn't start out that way. It didn't start out that way, but it did develop.
Yeah, it developed to that point. Because at first it was like, I think when we started writing the first episode, we were like, okay, well, something happens to me, something happens to you, something happens to me.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of this reciprocal thing. But then eventually we just noticed it was like really funny when you were getting like really fucked up.
Yeah.
So like we were,
so I guess the idea between us was like how much worse. Like what if everything happens to me?
Yeah.
And I like it. I think it was a good direction.
What is that on episode 3 where there's like someone sleeping on your lap and he's dead the whole time?
He just vomits all over me.
Oh, that's right. That happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that was fun.
That was crazy. Oh man, no, it's been a lot of fun so far, and the desert episode. Those were some of my favorite episodes. The ones with April here. April just walked in.
Oh, April.
Yeah.
April's in here.
Yeah.
Say hello, April.
What up, yo?
That's all you.
Yeah, we had her on as the embodiment of death.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what.
Which
that's
fits
what was
her.
happening.
You know, I'm not gonna say that. That's mean. I love
every time I see April, I think, wow, she looks like fucking death right now. Like she looks awful. So she played the perfect part.
I like to think that on the episodes I played me.
Oh, for sure.
So take that however you will.
Well, that just means that you found your voice as a character.
Yeah,
because you chose the right thing to do.
You're just an ephemeral being that transcends all of Orange County comedy.
That's true. Just hang out in the background, wait for shit to hit the fan.
So like. The one challenge I had with that episode was describing it for some reason. It was a lot of fun to do, but for some reason, out of all the episodes, like it was difficult for me to be like, how do I make this bio sound interesting? But it was like one of the most fun. It was like one of our favorite episodes. Remember? Like,
I would say that's probably my favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
There's so many things that happen where it's like, holy shit, like talking cactus, and like every single time he wanted to die and he couldn't die. Like I thought that was great.
It was one of those episodes. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay.
It was one of those episodes where it started out because you wrote the original outline for the episode, and then all of us together just created something entirely.
Because there were a lot of moments between us. Like we had different riffs. Like I think I was talking about Noah's ship. If there was like a separate ship. With dinosaurs instead,
like that's a good joke. Right? It's a joke you would do. Definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Which I want to remember these and then just make them into bits. Like some of these that I'm doing on because I haven't really done that to most, like a lot of them things at least.
I've done a couple. The audiences who don't know Andrew or any of us, Andrew and I are stand-up comedian.
You could say that. Yeah, for sure.
Also, April and Daryl too. They all do stand-up.
Yeah,
They all
April's.
It's almost like that's why we all know each other.
Almost. Not
Crazy.
Not quite.
It's like, how
but
did
almost.
this happen? Oh, I remember now. Like, yeah,
Talk about
that one time.
Talk about your influences in comedy while we're on the topic.
Oh man,
Is that
okay.
too heavy?
Let's do that. I think I remember the first comedian that I ever saw that I was like kind of in awe of was Mark Maron. I saw a Mark Maron special.
Really?
Yeah, and I got into comedy a lot later than I think most people did. Before they actually started doing comedy. I saw his Thinky Pain special, which was like 2012 or something like that.
Which
and
is great.
It was great,
It's a
amazing
special.
special.
It's probably one of my favorites.
And I think it was so funny. And I think part of the reason I liked him so much is the way that he was able to turn anger into humor. You know, like he's just like so righteously angry, and then for stupid shit sometimes, which was fun. You know, like a really neurotic kind of way. But then I think my favorite comedian after that was Pete Holmes. Pete Holmes is just really silly. You know, he's able to dwell in that silliness, and he just tries to bring everybody into his own reality, you know, and I like that.
Mark Maron, so. I like Mark Maron a lot because he's had such a long and tumultuous career in comedy because he's lost his career multiple times and had to literally rebuild it. So, like, he literally went from being this angry 20-something-year-old who was screaming to just, you know, being an old man talking about old man things. And I love that he acknowledges it. Like, I've definitely developed from where I was to where I am now.
Yeah, but he also seems to have somewhat of a modern take on things.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't talk like an old man.
No, he doesn't. He's very intelligent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, he can identify with the younger audience pretty easily.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that a lot of, like, younger women think he's hot, which is crazy. That's so nuts to me. What do you think, April?
That.
Do you think Mark Maron is hot?
I definitely
That's what I'm
get it.
saying. Like, this is like
he's got like
he's
the
got some
salt
kind of
and
appeal.
pepper thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you would spend a weekend at his apartment learning about life. Like,
totally.
It sounds like you would.
Justin's projecting again.
This is what everybody feels, right? No, I like Mark Maron. I don't know. I like him.
Yeah, he's and I got into other absurd shit too, like Rory Scovel.
Oh my God,
I love
really off
the handle.
Rory.
He's one of my favorites. I'm pretty heavily influenced by him.
He's so fucking funny.
He's amazing.
I can't deal with
He's
it.
amazing.
He's too funny.
Yeah,
He's too funny. It makes me mad.
I think he had a.
Stop it!
Like, it's just like the faux, like the fake antagonism that he has with the audience is fun, you know.
Yeah.
And then he'll just the way that he's able to improvise is incredible to me. Like he had an entire special. I don't know if it was a special, but for a while he was touring and he's like, I'm doing an improvised hour. He did an improvised hour of comedy. Like he was doing that for a while.
Did you?
I never saw it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see it?
I never saw that act specifically, but I feel like he'd do a good job. Like just his style, you know. Like,
I like how silly he's able to go.
Oh, yeah.
He's able to go so goofy.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
Monty Python level, just absurdity, but it all
Exactly.
follows. Like, it's
Exactly.
not crazy for the sake of crazy. He's following a train of thought that makes sense, and he's just going the wackiest you can with it.
Who are your favorite comics, April?
My favorite comics,
Or like your top? I don't know, top 5.
top 5. So, gonna start out. First comedian I ever memorized the routines of, was very formative in my childhood, was Bill Cosby.
Really?
He's good.
I mean, he's a great.
I mean, it was legit good. It's crazy, right? Like,
His
like-
comedy,
His comedy, exactly.
I've always, he's just a genius
Yeah,
of
he is
types.
so unique in
And
his style.
now I feel really sad and weird saying
I
that.
know,
I know.
me too. And I feel like I want to stop talking about him now. Honestly, like
I know.
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
Bill
no.
so
more.
weird.
Who's the second?
It's
then?
so weird.
Second one in high school, the comedian who I was really into and I was getting to like stand up more was Eddie Izzard.
Oh, I love
Loved
Eddie.
Eddie
Oh, I
Izzard.
like Eddie Izzard,
Can't go
too.
wrong with Eddie Izzard.
He's
Yeah.
another improviser.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And then currently, I'd say probably my biggest influence currently is Maria Bamford.
Oh my God, she's my top 5 as
Adore
well.
her.
I saw
Adore
her. Yeah, I
Maria
saw her in
Bamford.
LA a
I
while
mean,
back.
like I've seen her act a few times, and I'm just like, how do I even start to write anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like
she's so fucking good.
It's amazing. Like all the characters she jumps in and out of, you know, how everything just kind of like weaves together, and it's like
and she's such a she is amazing at voices, and she uses it like to its
fullest extent.
Utmost. You know, it strengthens every joke. It's never just a voice for the sake of a voice. It's the voices strengthen the jokes, and some of the jokes come from the voices. It's incredible. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's really great. Yeah,
What about you?
I loved her.
He doesn't listen to comedy.
I hate it. I love how inventive she is too. Particularly with her specials.
My
God!
Remember,
what was it called? The special she did with at her house with
the
her
special.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It's a special.
Just for her parents,
I believe.
Right?
Yeah, it was her parents sitting on the couch in her house.
She burned cookies,
not laughing at her jokes.
Laughing.
They did not. It was
but really trying. They were paying attention,
being sweet about it.
I was turned off initially.
Really?
I don't know why. It was a new thing for me. So my mind immediately went, "Oh, I don't know about this." But it got me.
It's alienating. Yeah. At the beginning, it's deeply alienating.
Yeah.
It's like the HBO special that Drew Michael just did, where he did his special for HBO in a black box theater with no audience at all, just him to the camera. And once you get in step with it, like you have to stick with it and like get through that strangeness and awkwardness and like, what? This makes me feel weird and all that. But once you sort of get through that layer, you appreciate it for what it is. You're like, it's alienating, but that's just because it's different and it's experimental. It's also amazing because of that.
We're getting into this point now where comedy is reaching a global audience, stand-up specifically, and it's taking stand-up and twisting it in so many different kinds of ways. It's really moving the genre in ways that it hadn't ever been before. So I'm super excited to see what everybody talks about. Like, oh, comedy. I know somebody who has the opinion that comedy is going to be dead in 10 years. And I think the opposite.
Who is it? Who is this motherfucker?
It was Daryl. No, it wasn't Daryl.
Daryl, if that's true, you're going to be dead in 10 minutes.
No, but it's just really exciting.
It's all rules of 10 with us. 10 minutes or 10 hours, who knows? Like
the 10th punchline is the funniest one. Rule of 10.
Now that other countries and other cultures are meeting it and manipulating it and putting their own perspectives on it, I'm super excited because like there's a great scene in China and India.
Yeah, they're all wrong though. They're all wrong. We're the right ones.
Yes, nobody else should do comedy like America.
No.
The greatest comedian.
The greatest. Yeah. Oh, but by the way, did you hear about? You listen to Comedy Bang Bang every week, but like, Scott's new title for Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah, it's America's favorite podcast.
It's America's podcast.
Oh, it's America's
podcast.
That
is so funny.
Yeah.
That's a very Comedy Bang Bang.
I love it. We are the diehards here.
Yeah.
Daryl sometimes begrudgingly will listen to Comedy Bang Bang.
Comedy Bang's great. You don't like Comedy Bang Bang, Daryl? Oh, okay. Here we go.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I just don't gravitate towards it. It's like one of those things when people show me it. It's like fish and chips.
Is it? I'm sorry. Elaborate.
Every time I eat fish and chips, I'm like, man, why don't I eat more of this? And then 6 months later goes by and I've never had any more fish and chips.
It's different for me with fish and chips because every time I eat fish and chips, I'm like, I should never have picked this up. You know, like
this episode is sponsored
this
by
is
Long
terrible.
That's something that I've come to realize is that me and Daryl have different podcast tastes. We have different types of podcasts we both like, and there's a clear division there between the good ones, which are the ones I like, and the shitty, stupid ones, which tends to be Daryl's taste.
Oh my God. What's ironic about this is that for me, personally, I am actually more influenced by Comedy Bang Bang than anything else
Really?
when I'm making this podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
no, you're right.
That's very real.
All the
That's
ideas
true.
that I
Yeah,
come
yeah,
up
yeah.
with, like a lot of the characters or a lot of the scenarios or the methods that we use when we're making the podcast, I kind of got from Comedy Bang Bang.
The idea, I think for me, the idea of Comedy Bang Bang's influence is just in how they're able to create the world within what they're doing, and I think that's kind of what we took from it.
Yeah,
right?
well, we have our own spin for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, for us, like, we're actually in that world. For them, they're just in a room interviewing people who are like weird characters, you know, and then they will manufacture a situation that doesn't exist, which we do as well.
Yeah,
but at the same time, for us, like, we're actually in this fictional world that we've made up. It's different.
Yeah,
because we're pretending that we're out in the world.
Right.
Again, I'm going to say none of the stuff that happened to us in the podcast actually happened. If you didn't know already, you guys.
Have asked.
Yeah,
I mean,
people have asked.
And we
true.
love them for listening.
Do they?
Please listen. Keep listening.
Are they all like, am I going to see April Law when I'm dying? Are you going to pop up? Because that
That's what
seems
they
right.
believe. Yeah,
That seems right.
Yeah,
That's accurate.
exactly. That's the only thing that is true, guys. You will see April Law when you die. No.
Daryl,
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Daryl, who are your favorite comics?
Let's see. I always gravitated towards Carlin initially.
Okay.
I always loved him. Especially when I first started to get into like atheism. Like he was like the first atheist that I was like, yeah like what he said. Guys, it all makes sense.
His 10 Commandments bit, I think, is one of my favorites. It's
And
really
the whole
good
swearing
bit.
on the Bible.
Oh yeah,
That shit was hilarious.
The 7 dirty letters. That was actually like
Yeah.
a legal case.
Right.
That
That
actually
Right.
made legal. You know, it's a law now. It's
yeah, and obviously he
Precedent
was
is
the
what I was
first
gonna
guy
say.
that was really
Legal
like,
precedent.
I'm going to do a special a year and just keep churning out material.
Although at the
and
end,
yeah,
he
it might
didn't
not
do
all.
it
Obviously, every special is not the same. But I don't know, guys. Right now, obviously, I like a lot of New York guys like Sam Morril,
Oh, I love Sam Morril.
Sam Morril.
Mark Norman.
Yeah, he's really.
Mark Norman's really.
Those guys are both
boy.
really punchy.
Yeah,
like they have,
they're-
like they get to their, you know what I mean? Like they just like
The-
really
It's
quick
jokes per minute
jokes,
is like
yeah.
every 15
jokes
seconds.
that Mark Norman, the amount of jokes he has within like a 5-minute set are incredible.
A lot of just set
punch,
up,
punch,
set up,
punch.
punch, set up, punch.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
and
crazy.
it's great.
Yeah.
Speed of
It's
it.
great. He's really funny.
Yeah. Mark Norman's very good.
What's interesting is like that kind of is a New York style a little bit, isn't
Definitely.
it? Like it's just very efficient. And
you have to keep with their attention because they want jokes.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
so you can't draw it out like you can in other places.
Well, yeah, like places like Largo, like that's where guys like Patton Oswalt and
I love Patton Oswalt.
Dimitri Martin, those guys can thrive there because the audience are more forgiving. They will say like, "Oh, I'll let 2 minutes go by without a laugh."
Dimitri Martin's like a one-liner comic though. That's different.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think like a lot of New York places are going to be like, "Cool, an easel."
Yeah. Well, he started out there. That's where he made his way in the. So somebody asked me about my favorite comic.
his comedy though, because he can do he can do like a half hour, an hour set without an easel. You know, like I've seen him do it. Like he'll just do a bunch of one-liners and like different bits.
Question, just throwing this out there, since we're on the subject. What are your guys' thoughts on Matt Bronger? Because I feel
I like
like
Matt Bronger.
I
actually don't know
adore
him.
Matt Bronger.
I like Matt Bronger. He's funny.
Love his
Dang.
comedy. I think
He
he's
has
so
this,
funny, but I feel like
will
he's
step out
not
of this one.
recognized.
He's not as recognized.
He's
as
not
he should be.
recognized to the degree that he should be,
Yeah,
based on
yeah.
his like craftsmanship of jokes. Like "Soak Up the Night" was amazing. That was so funny, and he's able to draw out one concept and just build and build and build, and its punches within the same joke. But I love
He
that.
has
I
a
feel like he
joke.
should be more famous than he is.
He should be. He's very good. He has a joke that sticks in my mind about there's like an Italian restaurant that he would go to. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Spaghetti
Yeah,
time?
the spaghetti time.
I love.
Yeah, there's this
Eat
waiter.
spaghetti time.
There you go. You know. He knows it. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's this little guy that looks kind of like Mario, right? Like that's how he describes him. He looks kind of like little Super Mario.
This little Italian man.
Little Italian man. And then like right before he leaves, he's like, "Okay, guys, it's spaghetti time." And then he like takes off and is like, "Fuck yes, it's spaghetti time, Mario."
He just goes. He goes off on it though for like 3 more minutes. Where it's just like someone asks you what time it is. You say 4:15. Fuck you, Steve. No, it's spaghetti time.
That's great. I like that. I like that too. It's fun.
Him and Chad Daniels are very similar to me.
I don't know Chad Daniels.
He's a very type of, I don't know. He talks a lot about his kids and family and stuff. He has a joke about finding a ruler in his kid's bathroom.
Oh, I remember that joke. I know that joke.
Yeah, and he's like, I was measuring my poops. You sure you weren't?
That's so funny.
All right, so nobody fucking asked me, but I'll.
What is it?
I'll say
I think I did.
I did.
But, okay.
Wait, I think we.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. I was waiting for for somebody to outright say it.
What comedians do you like to listen to?
So my dad is a fan of comedy, and
you like to listen to your dad? That's really weird, man.
He had a lot of old comedy records from the 70s.
Your dad's Bill Cosby?
I gotta go with the OG Cheech and Chong on my list of most influentials.
Okay.
George Carlin was a big one for me. My dad has a bunch of Carlin records. And Demetri Martin was my first ever favorite comic. Like when I was in sixth grade, I was like, "Who is this guy? This guy's a genius."
I feel like if you're trying to be a one-liner comedian or something similar to it, then you should more so than Hedberg and more so than
Stephen Wright.
Right, Stephen Wright. More so than those two, I think you should look at him because he's like a modern one-liner comedian.
Yeah, definitely. I would say him and Anthony Jeselnik is almost a one-liner comedian.
He kind of almost is. Yeah,
right. Very jokey, very simple setups and premises that lead to complex jokes structures in general.
Jeselnik's a wild card, kind of.
Yeah, he's a wild card.
The weird thing about him is that his jokes are so dark that it's if he goes a little bit farther one way or he doesn't go far enough, it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he really straddles that line where it's he could go a little bit farther and everyone will fucking hate him.
You're right.
Or he could just not go far and people would just be like, "Oh, that's whatever."
And he's made a lot of people mad. I think he made the continent of Australia mad. Is that a thing that happened?
He made all of Australia angry.
Yeah,
it's they got so angry that they caught on fire.
Yeah. They didn't even care about the fire. They were just like, Jeselnik, what the fuck?
It's like people photoshopping Jeselnik's face on dead koalas. It's how much we hate you, Jeselnik.
That's funny.
Jeselnik's amazing. Now that we brought up Stephen Wright, I think Stephen Wright's one of the best joke writers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think he is. I think he holds up, and I think he's. I just so many. There's one line that I remember. It's I bought some powdered water, but I don't know what to add. Oh my god! How many words is that?
He was the original one-liner comedian.
That's 6 words.
He was the original one-liner comedian because I can't remember. I can't go as far back.
You know what that makes me think of?
12 words.
Which I think is kind of I will say that this has been a lasting influence on me, but that reminds me of some of the headlines from The Onion. Actually, where you're just because they have some that are so few words, it blows my mind. I can't handle it. They had, they'll have headlines that are just so fucking great. They had one which was 3 words, and it was bonus track It's 3 words. That's insane.
The crazy thing too is they've gotten, as the political climate has gotten worse, they've gotten better. They're so good at just taking all these movements and everything that's going on and relaying it into one joke. It's brilliant.
But then also they do that thing. I love that they just have the local news segments. Like, they're able to cover it all because of their format. They're able to do sports jokes. They're able to do their fake polls that they do, political jokes, just local jokes, which are essentially some people are like type joke, but they just set up as local man or local woman, and it's the exact same thing, but they found the perfect format for it.
You know what's interesting about Onion articles is that sometimes they actually fool people. Like, people that famous people are fooled by Onion articles occasionally, and it's the funniest thing ever.
You've never ever read one and thought for a second that it was real?
Not me, but I remember my ex.
No, but
that's okay
because it has the logo, and if you know what it is, then you're automatically like, oh yeah. But then I feel people who aren't familiar with the Onion can look at it and be like, what? What did Biden do now?
I feel like I'm the minority, but I feel like you guys are lying. That you've never at least read something once and thought for a second. Like, never, not even.
No, we're not as dumb as you are.
I haven't. I don't know about you guys. I haven't ever. Never, ever. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
I'm just waiting to see when you're going to stop defending yourself against something that no one but you said. No one here is accusing that of being
what's going on here.
What happened to you except for you.
I don't know why you guys are just like attacking me right now. But I think we should move on. I think that's what.
There was an article. There's a couple of things that I thought. Okay, there's an article when I was dating one of my exes. She sent me an article. It was an Onion article. And it said, she said, "What, can you believe this?" And it was like Bob Dylan becoming a DJ. So funny, because you know how he went electric, obviously, in the '60s.
It's so good.
It was like so Photoshop, where him was like at a DJ table like this, like with headphones on and everything.
I love their terrible Photoshop.
It's so funny,
it's so perfect.
And I was like, "Oh, this is from the Onion. This isn't real, right?" And she was so embarrassed. It was hilarious. It really did dupe her,
That's amazing.
Funniest thing ever.
Oh boy!
And then they had a video. Occasionally they'll have videos that are really funny too.
Yep.
And
Some of them are incredible. There's some amazing
classic
videos.
one where it was like they were on the Senate floor, but they weren't really. It was some senator who wasn't real, and they were debating this bill that they were trying to pass, and it was the skull fucking bill of 2000 whatever, But it sounded if you watch the video, it sounds like it could be real the way they present it, and that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
He goes into detail about how we have to really address this crisis of skull fucking, which obviously isn't real. No one is there isn't rampant skull fucking going out there, but he was making it sound like that we really have to crack down on this, and it was great. It was
real.
Best. Yeah.
They have some which are fake talk show segments, Good Morning America, basically. There was one where it's there was one which was amazing. It was this fake talk show with these cheesy hosts, and the title was something like heroic 12-year-old shoots, home invader, mutilates body. And they're all interviewing him about how brave he was. He's clearly a sociopath.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
I love that. That's great. Oh, I'm curious. Okay, so let's talk about this for a little while. We've got.
Did we ever get to your favorite? We did, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah,
right.
That's fine.
I forgot about that.
I can do it again. You guys want to?
No.
Louis was another one that was really big for me.
Yeah, he was big.
Louis was
everyone.
big for me too.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of skill
crazy.
he had, or has, he still has it, I guess. It's unbelievable just watching from how do I do that perspective. His seasonings. I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah,
about movie,
I know what you
but-
mean. He had that thing that was like kind of like righteous anger as well.
Yeah.
He came from that.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
a lot of his bits that were really good, they were funny, were the ones that he was passionate about how much he hated something. I think. Yeah.
Well, like comedy, comedy comes from a deep place of complaining sometimes. Or it can.
Sure. A lot of it can. Yeah.
So, like if you look through the eras of stand-up history and you like look at the big figures of the time, they were all just complaining about things in different ways.
yeah.
This is something that I've always held true for comedians, and I always think about myself in terms of this. I always say comedy is you've gotten good enough at complaining that you can make people want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like you've just gotten really good at hiding that all you're doing is complaining.
Yeah.
Because otherwise people are sick of it and they walk away.
They only want to hear what you're angry about. What do you hate? That's it, right? I mean, what makes you angriest enough to get on stage for 10 years and talk about it?
People who scrape icing off of cake and leave it on the side of the plate.
Oh my god.
I have serious issues with that.
I have a similar
Just
issue.
don't eat the cake. Jeez.
Like
right?
people who take off the
Fucking
pepperonis
why
and
bother?
then throw them away.
Oh, are you insane?
What? Offer them.
Other people want the pepperonis.
Unless you're eating a pepperoni pizza by yourself, in which case, why would you? Oh, I hate pepperoni.
I just take 2 pepperonis off and then I put them on my nipples. That's what I do.
I mean, that's just some fun foreplay.
Yeah,
Let's not keep shame.
Lady Gaga style. Was it right? That's what, we talked about that.
We did
earlier.
talk about that.
did.
The meat dress. I was gonna say, okay, so moving forward, we did talk about some of our favorite moments in like the short retrospect that we have. Do we have anything coming up that we want to like talk about? Like any ideas for future episodes that people can like look forward to? What do you think? Not really.
Nope.
We're talking
Nothing.
about
This is
aliens.
it. This
Guys,
is the last
just-
episode. No, this isn't. We have more.
Just make
Like what
something
happened?
up.
We talked about this. Like
My God, just bullshit. It's an improvised podcast. Say some random shit.
No, we.
You teach. There's that episode coming up where you teach sign language to a chimp, but then it turns out the chimp is smarter than you. I'm excited for that
Daryl
one.
plays
more
the chimp.
visual
Daryl
than
plays
anything
the
else.
chimp.
Honestly, like,
He makes his
yeah.
own chimp noises.
Great. Well, that's another thing we started doing. We're employing like extra bit characters. Daryl's here. He's just doing like characters for us like, randomly.
Oh, yeah,
which
Daryl,
has been
what
a lot of
characters
fun,
do you
actually.
play?
Yeah, you can.
Well, so far it's been the cactus
That's
who
right.
can't die,
Yeah.
and then the guy that was committing suicide in the squirrel suit vest
Falling into the volcano.
because his wife was cheated.
Oh, that
or
hasn't
was
come out
cheating
yet.
on
Oh, it
him.
will have come out.
Yeah,
It
it's-
has.
it's out.
It's out.
It's
Did
out,
you know
yeah.
that?
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
been
out.
out for a few days. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it's out. It's out.
It's very
Oh,
good
boy.
too.
Yeah, it's great.
I was listening. Shut up.
It's great.
You didn't even fucking listen to it, you asshole.
It's great.
Like-
It's the best so far. It's the best.
It
Anyways,
is
go
great
ahead,
though.
Steve.
No, it is great.
It is.
I was
Yeah.
listening to it. It's really funny. What?
Any character, I guess, that like needs to come in and die real quick.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much
Or
my
just
role.
like it doesn't, you could maybe that's so far that's what's been happening. But to be honest, but it could be anything else. Like,
How about this episode? I don't die.
It's like nah. Sorry.
We'd really like to try that someday. We'll figure it out.
So future episodes. We got. Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but
No, just ideas for future.
I don't know.
Because the thing is we've written we've written some stuff that we don't want to give away yet.
Yeah.
When the one episode, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil
for
everything.
sure.
The one where you're scuba diving and then you find Atlantis.
Oh, that's
But it turns out everyone there's a racist.
There you go. See, that's a great idea for an episode.
That one's gonna be great.
We did talk about an Atlantis episode.
We did.
Remember that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
So I
that's
think
great.
at some point we will end up doing something like that. Yeah. We're probably gonna have an episode with aliens later. I think. Right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not
Um,
going to telegraph any of this. You're not going to know what's happening next. We're just like throwing shit out there.
Yeah.
But-
Frankie
but,
Muniz is gonna come back at some point
Uh-huh.
in maybe the Alien episode. Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Why not? Right? I feel like
Frankie
we could
Muniz
flesh-
is an alien.
We could flesh out Frankie Muniz a little bit more for sure.
Yeah,
I think we could.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot. There's a lot of possibilities.
Maybe we'll go to purgatory.
We'll go to purgatory. We'll go to heaven, and we'll go. I don't know how much. But the next few episodes, I don't want to give away too much because they're all kind of like related.
We talked about time travel.
Yeah,
let's time travel. Let's time travel back to 1902 and get some free college. But it's worse college. It's not good school.
Well,
a lot of racism.
Andrew's gonna get some free college. Let's be realistic. You're gonna be in a slightly worse situation.
Let's not try and travel that far back.
We won't. Don't worry.
I was gonna say, let's time travel forward, but what if the racism gets worse that way?
Like
1902.
2522, Trump is still president. He's found a way to extend his life hundreds of years.
Let's not get political.
It won't be that political. It'll just be stupid.
It's gonna be stupid political.
Yeah, it'll just be fun.
Yeah, fun. That's what we do. That's what we do here at Please Send Help. We have fun.
Exactly.
That's what it says on the wall of Daryl's apartment. Let's have fun.
All right. You know what? I feel like we're gonna
should wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up now. We didn't even read it. We're wrapping it up. No. Yeah. Let's. We didn't even realize how long we were talking, and this has been a lot of fun. So if now you guys know a little bit about who we are as actual people and not fake characters.
Catch the next episode. Please Send Help. It's an exciting episode. We're gonna have the cast Evan Cassidy.
Yep, that's right. We're gonna have Evan Cassidy on. It's gonna be a lot of fun. He's gonna be the cast man. There'll probably be a few other characters as well. Whatever he wants to play.
Yeah, that's not.
I don't want to spoil. I'm not spoiling anything. I just said he's gonna be other characters.
Don't spoil it.
So there's that, but also I do want you guys, I feel like this is kind of exciting. The next episode is not only just going to have characters by him, but we're going to have a lot of weird, wacky characters. We're going to have a lot of characters.
We're going to have a lot of characters.
We're not going to tell you why. We're not going to tell you why or how it's going to happen.
Or when.
But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to something you can really look forward to. And also, send us, you can check out our Instagram, Please Send Help Pod.
Please send help.
Please send help, but also please send messages. Give us some feedback. Tell us how we're doing or whatever it is.
Money if you like it.
Please send money as well. We should set up. We don't have anything for that yet.
No, I don't know if anybody's gonna give us money yet.
Anybody will give us money? I don't know.
What? If we won't say no. How about that?
Yeah. If you see us in person, hand us a $20 bill, please, desperately.
They'll also take ones.
Also take ones and spare change.
Yeah, stripper rules.
Exactly.
To stick it right in my belt. I won't ask.
So, occasionally we will be checking in with you guys to give you a rundown of what's happening in our lives and how we are operating this podcast, and just to check in with us. Actual human beings and not the characters. And this has been a lot of fun. We're gonna wrap it up. Do you want to say your Instagram?
No, follow me at me_doing_comedy.
And then I'm Andrew Zen Numbers on Instagram. And then April, do you want to?
April Latshaw.
April Latshaw. That's right. That's her real
Daryl
name.
Doesn't get to talk about it.
Daryl.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
That's not his Instagram.
All right.
No, it's not. It's called This Comics Life.
Hey, yeah,
real simple. Cool.
That, by the way, is also the title of one of his podcasts.
Oh,
yeah, I'm a
true.
fan of.
Yeah, we pitched Daryl's podcast.
I do enjoy that podcast. That's one of the reasons we wanted him on our podcast for sure.
April's asking.
What's one of the podcast reasons you wanted me on your podcast? If we're talking about other people's podcasts.
Excuse me, why do you sound autistic right now?
Okay.
We just think you're funny.
That's true. That's true. But also, I do podcasts with Daryl Williams.
Oh, shit.
Did you really
I'm
not
so
remember?
sorry.
You were just
No,
on
I
an
was
episode.
on it. That was a great
I remembered.
podcast. That
I
was so
remembered,
much
and I
fun.
didn't see it.
Anyhow,
I love that podcast. I did.
the podcast you forgot existed.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well,
I
you know, my self-esteem
You're
is in the
such
toilet
a
right
you're
now.
such a Sex in the City podcast.
You're such
I
a
know.
Sex in the City podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Every episode of Sex in the
Guys,
City.
that
Talk
I don't
about
know why I forgot about that because that's actually better than This Comic's Life. So sorry, Daryl. The truth can hurt sometimes.
Do you feel that, Daryl? That's the truth right there.
Well, every time when I was doing this Comics Life, I was like, you know what, this would be way better with April. Way better.
And it was. It was.
She's actually been a guest on it a lot as well. Okay, that's how we became mortal enemies.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. Let's wrap it up. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye-bye.